I was young and broke, and to outfit my first apartment with stuff. So I figured out that people set stuff out on certain days for the trash to pick up usually, and sometimes it's curb finds. This is before the internet, so you kind of learned where people drop things off. And if you see something that's got some potential, a lot of times people will set things out that just have a really small problem, like a burn mark or a broken handle or a loose leg or maybe a chair with a loose arm, and it just needs to be repaired, maybe refinished. Well, we wanted kind of a eclectic / industrial. I mean, it is industrial because it's a distillery, and then I do like taking things and using them for not their originally intended purpose. And it's always fun to find something that maybe it's a boat and you turn it into shelving for merchandise, and there's a lot of, like at the distillery, there are some boat themed things because we are river city distillery. So I've got a light fixture that's an overturned boat with big industrial bulbs hanging down out of it. Another smaller, it was somebody's John boat that had a hole in the bottom, so it's pretty unusable as a boat. But if you turn it up on its end, the seats now become shelving surfaces, and then just put a few more boards in across to make additional shelving. And it had a really great patina to it, like the aluminum on it is beaten pretty badly, and then somebody had spray painted the bottom blue at one point, and that's all chipping now. And we've got sort of a speakeasy vibe going upstairs. It's just a seating area. I crafted a hidden door bookcase that you can push, and then as you go up, the idea was it would look really dark and moody up there. I got some inspiration from Pinterest for that, actually. There was a scheme called, I think it was called like Dark Academic, and it was all these moody colors from like really old libraries of old universities and that sort of thing. And they apparently frequently would paint them like these dark greens that were all black and or smoky gray colors. And so we did the smoky gray. And then we also kind of wanted to look like a place that might be a club where men would go smoke and make big deals and stuff. And just happened to get lucky and find somebody who was selling some banks of old lockers for next to nothing. They were in a barn. And so I got a 20-foot section of lockers. Oh, thrift stores are great for finding furniture pieces, but you gotta go kind of regularly. And you also have to learn to sort of sort through what you can do something with and what's junk and it's going to always be junk. I think it keeps a lot of stuff from going to landfills. And people like used things that they can tell have been repurposed. There's somebody who wants to fix it up, and there's someone who just wants a finished piece. There's always someone who's really pleased to spend money to get what may have been roadside trash a couple of days ago. Now it's a really cool, statement piece, maybe even for their room. I got a friend who's he's an antique dealer, and he has been forever and ever and ever. And he loves to talk about there's antiques and then there's antiques. And the idea is there are some things, because they're so rare or unusual or the craftsmanship is so fine, that making it pristine or preserving it as to its original form and function is the goal. And those are the things he'd say are antiques, because they're super expensive and super collectible. But then there's everything else. It's old and it's interesting because it's old, but you don't have that's the sort of stuff I like, because you don't have to feel like bad about making it your own and changing it up. Yeah, and that's an old blanket chest. We didn't really do anything with it though, because the whole idea was to have something we didn't. It's a formal living room, but people do bring beverages to the formal living room, so why the coffee table should actually be usable was kind of the thought. Mm-hmm. And so all the water stains and stuff are just patina on it. Yeah, I think so. I think it's very generational though. Like for instance, my mother's parents were of a generation that your goal was to have, I mean, truly, to have all new things. Like, it would be kind of an embarrassment, or you, even if you had a lot of heirloom stuff, it would be put away in storage somewhere. You know, you wouldn't really want that out on display, because what you want to show is that you're part of the new age. Media really embraced it, and they started doing more and more pieces where either the design, you got to see the designer taking something and repurposing it, which then made it really sexy. Like, this is a bougie designer person who really knows their stuff, and they're rolling up their sleeves and sanding and painting, and then they would try to inspire you to, like, maybe you could do some of this too. I think that's kind of getting into some deep philosophy about, you know, how do you find meaning? And for, I think, a lot of people, traditionally, you like to think that, you know, when I leave this place, there'll be this enduring memory of me forever and ever, that you'll leave your mark. And so some of these things, the legacy does fade. I mean, and from that perspective, I think if you can repurpose something old and make it meaningful to somebody again, that's pretty cool. So I think that's what, you know, for me, it would be like neat if, I'd love to think that someday my kids go through all this stuff and find a few pieces that I'd be thrilled if they modified them even more and gave, you know, had some reason to continue to use it. And I think I think part of that's a mentality that could be passed on, I hope.